This is going to be a long video. It's almost 30 minutes, so I'm just going to try to get myself comfy and ready for this. So it's called Top 20 Unintentionally Disturbing Kids Characters from Around the World. I don't know if this is by the same channel, Blame It on George or something. I'm not sure where this is from, but I did react to a Blame It on George video, so I don't know if this is part of that or like from his channel, I mean. So, unintentionally disturbing kids' characters. So I don't know why it's 27 minutes if there's only 20 characters, but I guess we're going to explain it in depth each one. I don't know. But obviously this was just a suggestion because I would not react to any like 30-minute video just voluntarily, so yeah, you guys probably know that by now. But let's go. It's going to be a long, so I'm just trying to start it just so I can get it over with.
Have you ever tuned into your favorite show as a child and was creeped out by one specific character? And one that wasn't even supposed to be creepy? Sometimes even being the host of the show or its main characters? Well, you're not alone. Apparently tons of children's shows around the world has had these unintentionally creepy, nightmarish characters. So today, we're going to count down 20 unintentionally disturbing kids characters from around the world.
Unintentional. It's not even like intentional, so it's like... Okay, I'm still wondering why it's 27 minutes long for 20 things, but I guess we'll see.
The Boobahs from Boobah. This show was a British TV program that was produced by Ragdoll Productions. The Boobahs are 5 gumdrop-shaped creatures with big eyes and lights for eyebrows. Their heads are shriveled into their necks, and they awkwardly move around and fly with each other. The Boobahs do not speak. Instead, they communicate by making noises like squeaks and cracks. Like other shows on this list, many children, and even some adults, found the Boobahs to be absolutely terrifying. There's just something so unsettling about the way they walk and move. And if that weren't enough, their website could use some help too. Distorted music along with weird flash games that won't really entertain anyone who's above the age of 3 seem to make this thing a little more terrifying than anything related to this show should be.
I mean, those don't really scare me, they just kind of look weird and stupid in my opinion, but
from
that
The Wiggles.
Was creepy.
The Wiggles was a musical group that performed on children's television from 1991 till now. While several of the cast members of the original group has either left due to physical health or old age, the original series had some pretty weird ideas about some of the side skits. For example, there was The Puppets, which was based on a popular Alvin and the Chipmunks group and TV show at the time. These horrifying things had their own unique look and style, even though their voices were pitched up in the same manner as the titular rodents. They move in rather stilted, disjointed ways, and have pretty terrible puppetry to go along with it. They always have these big, plastered smiles on their faces, and large beady eyes that seem to stare right past you.
So because the faces themselves aren't like creepy, but just like the big eyes and the smile.
This is more home on a Chucky's film, rather than a children's TV show. Nonetheless, the Wiggles puppets gave kids nightmares throughout all of the 90s.
Fafo, from the island of Dr. Moreau. Fafo is an alien-born character from a fictional planet called Fafolandia. He came to Earth to form his own band called Balloon Magic with a quartet of children.
Okay.
Since his inception, he's grown to become quite popular amongst Brazilian children, getting to have its own program, dolls, and other licensed products. However, he's still incredibly creepy, and his features are incredibly bizarre. Most notably his strange cheeks that outgrow and sag over his skin, and his eyes that gave off an almost sinister-looking stare.
His nose, too.
His nightmarish appearance is completely unintentional, but nightmarish nonetheless.
So you unintentionally made his cheeks big as hell. I'm so sure.
Sasuga Minami from Maburi TV. Maburi TV was a morning Japanese TV show involving children dancing, often with the host Sasuga Minami. She's seen in a one-piece jumpsuit that has patches on it saying some pretty vulgar things all in English. And while these two might be confusing to the Japanese audience, the third is well known because of its close translation to the word faku.
Okay.
There really is no reason behind her outfits, and she's even worn it in a number of episodes with little to no backlash. In one confusing episode, the children are seen wearing Nirvana shirts for, again, no real reason. She dances and helps choreograph the children with these inappropriate messages displayed on her shirts.
Yeah, like what? How do you... Like, little
The
kids there? It's
Flutes
like, what are you
from
doing, lady?
HR Puff and Stuff. This bizarre children's show only ran for 2 years, with a total of just 17 episodes. The plot involved an 11-year-old boy named Jimmy, who becomes shipwrecked and lands on a deserted island. Him and his friend, a talking flute named Freddy, take a ride on a mysterious boat that leads into the living island. The boat was actually being controlled by a wicked witch, who used it to lure Jimmy and Freddy to her castle. The entire show is full of strange human-sized puppets, and Freddy the Flute is the creepiest looking companion ever. He gives off an unsettling face whenever he talks or just appears on camera. But what's just as terrifying as Freddy the Flute is Witchy Poo, the primary antagonist of the series who's after Freddy the Flute. She rides a large rocket-powered broom and is mean to everyone around her, even her henchmen.
Okay.
The Groke from the Moomins.
The Groke?
The Groke is a fictional character from the Swedish show The Moomins. She's a tall, ghost-like creature and is known as the biggest threat in Moomin Valley. Cold, creepy, and with a killer stare, everything this character touches freezes. If she stays in one spot for more than 1 hour, the ground dies, and nothing can ever grow there again. In the English dub, she's completely mute, but in the Finland, Poland, France, and Japan dub, her voice is absolutely terrifying.
Sounds like he's hungry or
何し
something.
に来たんだモラン。ここはお前の来るところではない。帰れ。そうでないと撃つ。
頭を叩くわよ。この棒で殴るぞ。
The Groke is considered to be one of the most intimidating characters in a children's program. However, she is also considered by others to be one of the most sympathetic and misunderstood villains. Even though she starts out portrayed as an evil and terrifying antagonist, later adaptations depict her as a lonely person who longs for warmth, light, and companionship, but is unable to because of her nature to kill things. She has no control over her appearance and her ability to freeze anything she touches.
Okay.
Mr. Blobby from Noel's House Party. Noel's House
Sus.
Party was a Saturday night TV show on the BBC, once hailed as the most important show on the BBC by a senior corporation executive. In 2010, Noel's House Party was voted the best Saturday night TV show of all time, according to the Mirror. Despite the positive reception, one of the show's characters was negatively received, and that was Mr. Blobby. Mr. Blobby is an 8-foot, round-shaped pink figure covered in yellow spots. He communicates by saying the word Blobby in an electronically altered voice and expresses mood through the tone of his voice. Mr. Blobby would partake in pranks involving celebrities, where he would act clumsy, childish, to irritate them. Mr. Blobby was criticized for his behavior, at one point causing one little girl to cry after throwing her birthday cake onto the floor, which then caused the father to approach the stage and attack Blobby.
Oh shit. That's kind of creepy.
Mummin Shots
Oh god.
from The Muppet Show.
Just
On episode 124, the Mummin Shots made a guest appearance on The Muppet Show. They're an experimental group of dancers formed in Switzerland, made up of performers whose techniques include acting, puppeteering, and other forms of artistry. They mainly perform in black leotards or other minimal attire, with creative masks while remaining completely silent. They also made an appearance on Sesame Street, where they performed several times. One involving 2 cardboard boxes to demonstrate the idea of being sane and different, and another involving freely stretching out each other's masks. These concepts must have been entertaining and even fascinating to adults, but for children, it must have confused and horrified them.
probably. Like, what is that?
These ominous pale white masks with cold, permanent expressions are menacing. Coupled with the fact that they are surrounded by beloved Muppets makes them even more disturbing.
Even now, it's pretty
The
creepy.
Phone from Telechat.
That's
Telechat is a French television show designed to be a parody of news programs, but for kids. It stars puppets of anthropomorphic animals, who all act and look in very strange ways. Their movements are so sporadic that it gives off just an uncomfortable vibe, and they all look just as weird too. The cat in the suit frequently has a broken arm, and the ostrich wears lipstick and shows cleavage. But strangest of
Like a
all
horror ostrich.
is the phone with a face. He whispers in the anchorman's ear when he picks him up, and almost sounds like he's gasping for air, before completely changing his tone. The show itself doesn't look that bad, and it does have some more frightening moments, like this microphone with an ear attached to it. It has a permanent-looking smile stuck on it, and an extremely bothersome voice.
Why? That's enough of that, right?
More so. From More So.
Sus.
There is honestly not that much information about More So online. All we do know is that he's a character from a Finnish children's show. Some of the only available footage online is what I assume to be a scene from the show, featuring a bear character stirring something, and this horrifying, nightmare-inducing, distorted clip of More So himself. The frightening music only helps solidify More So as a being of children's fears. And without it, he's still scary looking. Again, there's not much I could find about his character, or even what the show was about, which ironically only adds to the creepiness.
Sus.
Carbuncle from Ik Mik
Yeah, I
Lorland.
already see it. Sus.
This Netherlands show was an educational program that ran for 2 seasons
Educational.
in 1994.
I
The
know
series
me.
was intended to teach children how to read with a method called Learning to Read Safely. It featured a character named Carbuncle, who induced fear into every Dutch child who watched the show.
Yeah, because
In
that's
fact,
totally
the show
gonna
was
line anything
criticized
there.
heavily because of Carbuncle, who many parents thought was too scary for their children. Some even endured nightmares, according to a loosely translated article. After the first 20 episodes, Carbuncle was made more kid-friendly by transforming him almost entirely human. This was to inspire viewers to continue watching the series and expand on their education. And, despite the criticism, Ik Mik Lorland was a huge success. Though many Dutch children still recall the terror that was Carbuncle.
Wow, why make such a creepy thing for a kids
Unannounced.
learning show?
From
Like, I don't
Telefrancis.
understand.
Telefrancis was a French children's show that ran from 1984 to 1986. The show became a popular teaching tool in Canadian and American schools to teach their students French as a second language. However, the show featured a character named Ananas, a frightening, sporadic talking pineapple who often gets into adventures with our 2 main characters. She pretty much never blinks and is usually just looking around in a dazed stare when she's not speaking. She's almost nothing like her animated counterpart, who always appears in the show's opening title sequence.
Yeah, see, that's
There's
actually
one
kind of
episode
cute.
where
It's
she
like, you know,
sings and
happy, it's
dances
like
in the
normal.
forest with the two
That's
other
sus,
children,
though.
again looking extremely uncomfortable and creepy.
Partly Hair from Pipkins. There was a 70s kids show in Britain called Pipkins that ran from January 1973 to December 1981. The show starred a gang of animals such as a pig, a monkey named Topop, an ostrich named Octavia, and a hare named Hartley Hare. He was the most daunting thing about the show, and while Hartley Hare wasn't intended to be creepy, he ended up being downright unnerving for some children. The show itself was devoid of any real humor or color, and instead focused on a depressing color scheme. In this video, Hartley talks to children about being naughty.
And today I'm going to talk to you about being naughty.
He then brings out a glove puppet and explains that you can do all sorts of things with a glove puppet.
You know, you can be naughty with a glove puppet, can't you? Michael! Oh, dearie me, Michael. We have been getting into lots of trouble, haven't we? Yes, still.
Pipkins was cancelled when its producers, ATV, lost its franchise for the Midlands ITV region. Interestingly, due to videotape damage and poor storage, many of the show's episodes are completely lost. Out of 333 episodes, only 135 survived the test of time.
I mean, because that wasn't that creepy to me, but then again, I'm an adult to
The
a kid, that
giant
might be kind of
walrus
creepy.
from Pingu.
That's creepy.
In the episode titled Pingu's Dream, Pingu falls asleep and finds himself in a dream where his igloo home flies away, and then his bed grows legs and moves around. As bizarre as most dreams go, this one seems fine, until a giant walrus begins to stalk Pingu. The walrus slowly murmurs inaudible noises before confronting Pingu.
That's even creeping me out. What the
He
hell?
traps Pingu in an igloo, and then laughs some more in an uncomfortably deep tone, and must have scared the children watching at home.
Probably.
What's most odd is that he only appeared in this one episode. It was banned from distribution due to the walrus being frightening for many young viewers. It was also removed from British television in 2003, and was one of the few programs pulled from airing in the United States.
That's sus. That's even creeping me out. I'm 20.
P
Like, I'm not
Salty from P
scary and have
Salty
nightmares,
Songs for
but, like, you
Little
know.
Praisers. P
Salty?
Salty is described by their
Salty?
website as a songbook, but not just any songbook. A songbook full of songs for children. P Salty, in reality, is a grown man in a book costume. His face is painted blue, and it appears that he has some sort of clay prosthetic to make his cheeks more pronounced. He is often with and watching a group of kids with his trusty dog, Blooper. Blooper is another 30-something man who wears a downright creepy dog costume and is forced to act like a dog. Oftentimes, kids are petting him and treating him like an animal, which includes allowing them to lay in their laps and allowing them to pet his thighs and getting uncomfortably close to his groinal area. It really does scream stranger danger. But really, that is for you to decide.
Yeah, I mean, like, his butt was in their faces, and like, okay, like, alright then.
The puppets from Peppermint Park. According to TV tropes, this 80s TV show can be described as straight to DVD and straight from hell. And rightfully so. The main cast of characters is a scary group of puppets that teaches children lessons like letters, numbers, colors, and so on. Take Ernie, for example, who likes to sing about the letter M.
It's me, Ernie. Today on Peppermint Park, we're introducing the letter M. It's such a great letter. It's marvelous, magnificent. I can't imagine.
It's not that creepy, like again, as a kid, maybe a bit more, I don't know.
The song is poorly written and sung by a voice that can make ears bleed. There's also Maynard, an old, saggy-looking puppet who sings about the color blue.
He's definitely more creepy.
I'm so blue.
Yeah.
I said I'm so blue.
Okay, what do you want me to do about it?
I used to be yellow. Now I'm laid back and mellow.
Okay.
Not only is the show incredibly obscure, but it was a ripoff of Sesame Street. It had an opening title sequence with children and puppets that gave lessons, and even a character that bears a striking resemblance to the Cookie Monster. What really makes the show unnerving is the way they move and the designs themselves.
Yeah,
it honestly looks as though there are actors that just had their heads removed and then replaced with a creepy doll.
Well, legit though.
Whizbit. From Whizbit. This 80s show was about an alien magician known as Whizbit, who solves puzzles and finds out as much as he can about the planet Earth. The show was mostly educational, with the solutions to the puzzles being revealed towards the end of each episode. That's all fine and whatnot, but Whizbit's design is terrifying. It has a painfully high-pitched and disturbing childlike voice that's annoying, but evil-sounding all at the same time.
Let's hear it.
Hey, Whizbit, have you seen what happened?
I certainly have, Wooly.
Did you just come from Puzzleopolis?
Yes, I did.
Circle Square. Is it
Black, white, and gray.
and the puzzle bit, is it
Black, white, and gray.
and squidgy? Not squidgy.
I'm afraid so. He's a black, white, and gray bug now.
Sauce.
He's also accompanied by this tall, creepy bunny, whose voice
Like, isn't it just
sounds
me in the
muffled
background? It's kind of like
delirious,
menacing, like sounds kind
unintentionally
of like a
coming
random,
off as a
like
threat.
creepy, like I don't know,
Whizbit
sus.
lives in a house that's completely void of color,
You are sus, my
with
friend.
chilling music being played in
You're
the
hella
background.
sus over there.
However,
You perverts.
towards the end of one episode, the color palette does lighten up, but the bunny just dances for an uncomfortable amount of time while Whizbit just stands there, pondering.
I've had enough. Next.
Ratafak Plachta from Sleneko. Definitely one of the
It
more
sounded like he
obscure
said what the
characters on
fuck,
this
which
list.
is, yeah, what the
This
hell is
horrifying
that?
puppet is from a Czechoslovakian TV show. It's pretty hard to describe him, but according to a user on Reddit, his name translates to Nosy Blankets. Anyways, in this clip, he's frolicking around and singing an insanely creepy song.
If it's not giving me nightmares now, it's definitely what
In the
I
show,
was
he
saying
seems
there.
to enjoy walking around and having fun with children.
So
That's all I could take out of it. He just looks so damn creepy and moves in such a bizarre way.
freaking sorry, child, just because I watch
Nobody
these
from
creepy
Sesame
shows.
Street. Count to 10 with Nobody was an odd and old sketch from the early years of Sesame Street. It featured a disembodied floating set of eyes and mouth called Nobody, as he counted down from 10, with weird animations and music in the background. The scariest thing about Nobody is his eerie-sounding voice. It was
So it's always a damn voice with the face that just makes it much more sus.
He almost sounded like a psychopath waiting to murder someone. Nobody originated from an early Jim Henson short film about the human subconscious. Nobody would just like in the Sesame Street, float around and speak in his isolated, whispering voice, and have flashbacks about his family. Sometimes he would stutter, and other times he would smack his lips or moan and talk about his evil thoughts.
Lovely. That's a nice thought. Isn't that beautiful? Of course, I've got some evil thoughts too. I guess everybody does. Hey, you want to see my evil thoughts? Keep them over here.
I'm good.
In this part of my brain.
As soon as he would mention these evil thoughts, disturbing images would flash on screen for a brief few frames.
Last one.
Mr. Nosy Bunk from Jigsaw.
Sus.
This character is from an 80s British TV show and was originally supposed to serve as the program's comic relief character. As the show went on, he became more the subject of fear. Episodes would often show Mr. Nosy Bunk acting out clues to the word of the week. After all, this was an educational children's show, and for a children's show, he was downright horrifying. His mask had these big, lifeless eyes that just kind of stared off into the distance.
And the fucking nose. And
this
the
wide
nose.
and unchanging grin that displays a haunting smile.
And the nose.
And an unusually large nose. In the show, he's always silent, and often had his nightmarish repetitive tune accompany him. Not much was really known about his character, and information was scarce until recently, when he was brought up online. Charlie Brooker, host of the BBC television series Screenwipe, describes him as a leering death mask figure who haunted his dreams and struck him as the kind who would sneak into a stranger's bedroom in the dead of night and knife you, and knife you, and knife you.
That sounds about right. That sounds accurate. Okay, well. Oh, that was a long video. I'm about to go to bed now. But that wasn't that bad, actually. Now I see why it was so long, just because I guess it went in depth for each one, basically. Like, this chair's not that comfortable for sitting. I probably shouldn't have got this one, but, you know, it is what it is. I'll probably order another one, because, like, why the hell not? But, let me actually see what's still on sale. It's like, if so, I need to buy, like, right now, just so I can get it, because, like, it's just trash. I don't mind. It's just, like, with the way I sit for videos, and it's just, I don't know. I'll like, after I find it. But, I don't even know what to say to that, just because, like, a lot of them were creepy. Like, I don't get how some of them are educational. It's kind of like, hey, why do you think that you would want to watch that? Like, why do you think kids would want to watch that? Like, being so sus, and, like, it looks creepy, you know what I mean? Like, why the hell would you want to watch that? Like, I know I wouldn't want to, so, like, why the hell would they want to? Like, they'd probably say, Mom, can I, like, not watch this? Because this is, like, terrifying. Like, even me, again, I'm 20, and obviously I'm, like, terrified I'm having nightmares, but, like, I probably would have as a kid, you know what I mean? So it's, like, sus. Not much to really say other than sus, because that's just sus. Like, I'm sorry, that's just sus. So whoever made them, I don't know, you guys are kind of messed up, but that's okay, I guess. You do you, fam. You do all your creepy characters you want to do, but just saying. I mean, I got a lot of viewers. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment down below any suggestions you may have, and be sure to subscribe. And of course, be sure to turn on post notifications as well, so you never miss any videos that I do upload. That's gonna be it. Peace out.